Na magua mai gala hikia gala gau mai go ia gala vaina magua ya kaina gua ya kaina lo ya ga gau gala o kia vai e malo ya ma go no ma ya lo aloha balei e ka pau I balei no I ka uli leo le ai ka uka kai no no I ka le ua maka no e vivo I no a kula I ala kui lima ka na ko nai nai e na bua e ono ka ua I ala kui ua I te Aliʻiōlani Ye kui pua le yo hello me ole wa nei kana hele o ke hoali ke ole no ia e ko ole ai na lani he inoa no Aliʻiōlani
Kevelina mai nei ke kini o lalo na hoa o kauka na hele o puna. A kai ka no kauai kaukai. No ka nei ka papai lohia. A lau o ka lohelani. A kini la hula e ala e. Ma o na o ka nei ka ava. Wakau ke hai ka uluna. Wai ola ni ka moena. Ki pa ia e ka paka noe o ka o paka. A nila e ala e. Hei noa no kane. Ke nina mai kako.
Velina Mai. On behalf of the Hawaii State Judiciary and the King Kamehameha V Judiciary History Center, it is my honor and pleasure to welcome you to Aliʻiōlani Hale today to observe and celebrate the 150th anniversary of this historic place. My name is Keahe Davis. I am the Education Director at the King Kamehameha V Judiciary History Center. Before I share mo'olelo about Aliʻiōlani Hale, I would like to invite the Hawaii State Judiciary Chief Justice, the Honorable Mark E. Recktenwald, to the podium.
Good morning, aloha, everyone. Mahalo to Ahukini Fuertes and Johanna Chalk Tam for the beautiful Oli, and to the Ahahui, the Hawaiian Royal Societies, for gracing us by opening our program. Can you please join me in acknowledging them? On behalf of my colleagues on the Hawaii Supreme Court, Sabrina McKenna, Todd Edens, Lisa Ganoza, and Vlad Devens, as well as Administrative Director Rod Miley, thank you for joining us today to commemorate this amazing milestone, the 150th anniversary of Aliʻiōlani Hale. I'd like to extend a special aloha to our honored guests, including Governor Green and First Lady Jamie Green. Thank you so much for being here today, as well as members of the legislature, members of the federal and state judiciaries, and other distinguished guests and friends. We're all so honored by your presence today. Felina me ke aloha. Together, we gather to celebrate the past, present, and future of Aliʻiōlani Hale and to reflect upon the enduring legacy of this remarkable place. Mahalo to the organizing committee for today's events, who worked so hard to make it happen. Kanani Kavika and Johanna Chalk Tam, who co-chaired the event, Brianna Gouveia and William Academia, who served on the planning committee, Kainoa Danes, the president of the Friends of the Judiciary History Center, and the Friends plays a very important role in preserving this building and advancing its mission. Our wonderful facilities and grounds crew who provided the flowers and foliage, and Gil Tucaro, who arranged all of the flowers, and mahalo to everyone on our administrative team and the Supreme Court Law Library who are here today serving as ushers, greeters, and servers. Can you please join me in acknowledging them for making it happen? King Kamehameha V laid the cornerstone of Aliʻiōlani Hale in 1872, and the building opened 150 years ago tomorrow, April 30th, 1874. Since then, the building itself has been a cornerstone of Hawaii. It's played an important role in critical moments of Hawaiian history. It housed the legislature during the kingdom and was also the gathering site for the group that illegally overthrew the kingdom in 1893. Throughout, it has been the place where the most important legal cases in Hawaii are resolved. Today, my colleagues and I are humbled to call Aliʻiōlani Hale the home of the Hawaii Supreme Court. This building has been touched by the wisdom and dedication of many esteemed judges and justices, such as Chief Justice Elisha Hunt Allen, the first Chief Justice to serve here in this building, Chief Justice William S. Richardson, for whom the UH Law School is now named, and Associate Justice Rhoda Lewis, our first female Supreme Court Justice since statehood, to name just a few. The decisions made within these walls have shaped the legal landscape of Hawaii and our nation. From the Massey trial in 1932 to Bear versus Lewin, the landmark same-sex marriage case in 1993, to the groundbreaking decisions of the Richardson Court, and continuing to this day. Additionally, Aliʻiōlani Hale receives thousands of visitors each year. Students, educators, community group, historians, out-of-state visitors, and Hawaii residents come through its door every day and learn of its history and our legal system from our marvelous King Kamehameha V Judiciary History Center downstairs. Through the hard work of our History Center team, led by Matt Matisse, Keahi Davis, Ahukini Fuertes, and Brianna Gouveia, countless people have a better understanding of the history of law in Hawaii. And for those who can't get here in person, we now live stream our oral arguments so they can be seen around the world, and more than 17,000 people have tuned in over the last several years. Many dedicated individuals have shaped this building and its history. Just as a physical structure stands as a testament to the strength and resiliency of an edifice built upon a strong foundation, the work produced within Aliʻiōlani Hale is a legacy of justice built upon the tradition and history of Hawaii's people. As stewards of this heritage, it is our kuleana to remember our historical foundation. Mahalo to our colleagues in the executive and legislative branches whose support for the judiciary helps us care for the building and furthers the work that is done here. Together, we will build upon the efforts of those who came before us and continue creating a legacy of justice and aloha for future generations. Once again, mahalo for joining us on this very special day. Aloha.
It is now my pleasure to introduce the Honorable Dr. Josh Green, Governor of the State of Hawaii.
Aloha. Royal Order, justices, judges, colleagues, legislature, James, friends, thank you for coming today. It is a special day. It's my privilege to just share a few words and mahalo everyone for gathering today and honoring this 150th anniversary of our beautiful Aliʻiōlani Hale. It is extraordinary in every way. As the Justice and I were sharing right before we came to sit down, it is very likely the most beautiful courthouse in all of our country. And that is reflected on by we who travel the country, but also judges from around the nation come and make that same statement of how extraordinary this place is, about how the culture comes out of it, comes to life. And so it's a great privilege to just share this day, this moment with all of you here 150 years. I was struck as we looked at our kind of greeting and handout, if you pull out the insert and you look at the representatives' names. It is just magical to see first nobles and then representatives described, to see these Hawaiian names back in 1874, forgive me. I think that is a great reflection on who we are and what this building is. So it's a great privilege for Jamie and I get to serve. These events are positive ones. We have been through so much and all held together as an ohana. So it's particularly special when we see a day like this, which in so many ways is a great and positive reflection on our state's history. I'd like to thank a few people. I'd like to thank the team that brought the beauty together, the flowers together. I'd like to thank our director, Keith Regan. Keith, thank you, everyone. Let's give him a round of applause for his work. And Deputy Silman, thank you again. Wonderful work. We're glad to be able to join together the multiple branches of government. And we do recognize the legislature. They have been absolutely committed to making sure that this place remains beautiful. And so I acknowledge Sharon Moriwaki today. Thank you for your support and all of your work. The Judiciary Chair in the House, Dave Tarnas from Big Island. Don't know if David was able to make it to this session this morning, but again, it is great to see people from all of the islands, from the neighbor islands included, support this beautiful courthouse. So we honor everyone for their service. We honor the work that's been done here. It inspires people, inspires young people to go into law, to study the law. Now, a little bit about this building. When building plans were first commissioned, King Kamehameha V initially intended this structure to be a palace. However, on reflection, he determined that the growing kingdom had greater need for government offices and used these plans for the construction of this facility to help maintain cost and be thoughtful about how he would lead. So therefore, it's not only a collaboration and teamwork of the three branches of our state government, but it's also able to serve our public in a special capacity when young people come and see this and they're inspired to lead and to serve in justice going forward. So again, mahalo to the Judiciary for your excellent stewardship of this historic site, for your stewardship of the law. That is so special and so critical to all that we do. You are absolutely committed to our heritage and our history, and that's not lost on us. So not only did Aliʻiōlani Hale serve as our seat of government going back to the Kingdom of Hawaii, but it's also been present through the Republic of Hawaii and its first official use now exactly 150 years ago. That is something to reflect on. So again, thank you for coming here to remember the past, to honor the past. It is a living history for all of us, and it will mark future generations of law, justice, and care for this beautiful state. Mahalo, Chief Justice, for helping us through this era. And thank you again, Supreme Court, for being there for us all times. Again, to you all, we are honored to be here, and it's wonderful to see you again, Royal Order. Aloha.
In the 1860s, Iolani Palace, as you see it today, was not there. There was a much smaller home with several associated dwellings on the grounds. The smaller home was built in 1844 by the governor of Oahu, Kekuanaoa, for his daughter, Princess Victoria Kamamalu. The home was called Hanailoia. A year later, in 1845, Kamehameha III bought the home and moved his official residence from Lahaina, Maui to Honolulu. Princess Victoria moved across the street to a house called Mililani, where her kahu, or guardian, was the well-known chief John Papaʻiʻi. Today, Aliʻiōlani Hale sits on the site of Mililani Hale. The Hanailoia name of the old residence across the street was changed to Hale Ali'i and was used mostly for ceremonial purposes by Kamehameha III, Kamehameha IV, and Kamehameha V. In 1863, Kamehameha V changed the name of the building from Hale Ali'i to Iolani to honor his late brother, Kamehameha IV. Kamehameha V wanted to build a new residence to replace the aging Iolani house and even considered moving the site for the new house from downtown Honolulu to Makiki. At the time, Kamehameha V had a few other building projects underway in the kingdom, like the new post office building down Merchant Street, which today we call Kumu Kahua Theater, and Mauna Ala, the Royal Mausoleum. Some of the workers on these construction projects were from Australia, and Kamehameha V liked the work they were doing. He also knew there was a group of architects in Sydney where the climate, particularly during the summer months, was very similar to Honolulu's. He announced an international design competition to build the new Iolani Palace and focused his attention on the architects in Sydney. The competition winner was British-born architect Thomas Rowe, vice president of the Sydney Architectural Society. The kingdom government set aside money to construct a new palace and a new much-needed government or capitol building. By 1871, when Thomas Rowe's two sets of design plans arrived in Hawaii, it had been decided that the construction of the Capitol building would take precedence over the construction of the palace. Robert Sterling, the superintendent of public works, decided to adapt Plan B for the palace as prepared by Thomas Rowe. And in March of 1872, the laying of the cornerstone for the Capitol building took place. Later that year, in December, while construction was still underway, Kamehameha V died on his birthday. William Charles Lunalilo, a cousin, succeeded him. King Lunalilo only reigned for 13 months when he died of tuberculosis. In early 1874, the legislature chose a successor between two possible heirs, the Dowager Queen Emma, widow of Kamehameha IV, and High Chief David Kalakaua. When the legislature announced that Kalakaua had won, supporters of Queen Emma rioted, and the Kingdom Courthouse, completed in 1852, which is located near the corner of Bethel and Nimitz, was heavily damaged. Court proceedings were moved to the newly completed Capitol building. In April 1874, the newly finished Capitol and Judiciary building officially opened by King Kalakaua and was named Aliʻiōlani Hale in honor of Kamehameha V. In addition to the legislature and the judiciary, the new building also housed the Departments of Interior, Treasury, Health, and Education, as well as the Law Library and the National Museum. Construction of Iolani Palace across the street started 5 years later, after Aliʻiōlani Hale was completed, and is a fourth revision of Thomas Rowe's original design. On January 14th, 1893, Queen Aliʻiōlani made the short trip across South King Street from Iolani Palace to Aliʻiōlani Hale to announce the promulgation of a new constitution to replace the one that had been forced upon her brother in 1887. 3 days later, on January 17th, and with the backing of U.S. Marines fronting Aliʻiōlani Hale, a group of gentlemen calling themselves the Committee of Public Safety, walked to the Makai steps of our building and proclaimed a provisional government, overthrowing Queen Aliʻiōlani and the Kingdom of Hawaii. Aliʻiōlani Hale has remained the home of the Supreme Court for 150 years. Today, Aliʻiōlani Hale also houses Judiciary Administrative Offices, the Law Library, and the Judiciary History Center. The Judiciary History Center occupies the space of the Legislative Hall of the Kingdom of Hawaii. Aliʻiōlani Hale joined the National Register of Historic Places in 1972. For the next part of our program, we'd like to invite everyone to stand and sing He Mele La Hui Hawaii. This mele was composed by Queen Aliʻiōlani in 1866 at the request of King Kamehameha V to serve as Hawaii's national anthem. Leading our group recitation is Kainoa Danes. Kainoa is a member of the Royal Order of Kamehameha, president of the Judiciary History Center's nonprofit, the Friends of the Judiciary History Center of Hawaii, and senior director of destination education for the Hawaii Visitors Convention Bureau. Kainoa, you'd like to join us up front here?
Please rise. I brought my band with me. Hold on, we're tuning them up. So mostly we would sing Hawaii Pono'i, right? But that mele hadn't been written when this building was built. And so instead we turned to the anthem He Mele La Hui Hawaii, which was the anthem of these islands during the reign of King Kamehameha V. So an appropriate song one you may not have sung, but the words are on the back of the program if you didn't have them, and I'm going to do our best to sing them today. Makua mana loa, maliu mai amako, e haliu aku nei, me kana hauhaa, e mau ka maluhia, o nei pai aina, mai Hawaiʻi ani hau, malalo o malu, e mau kea o ka aina, ma kou ono mau, a ma kou mana nui, e ola ka moi, e ola ka moi. Mahalo, you may be seated. Or please be seated. It's an honor and a privilege to represent the Friends of the Judiciary History Center. I was able to serve a term or two in the executive board for a minute, and now proud to join the Friends. I feel my life has been walking in the footsteps of Kamehameha V in various things that I do. For example, in April of 1865, he founded the Royal Order of Kamehameha, of which I've been a proud member since August of 2007. By December of 2007, I was asked or voluntold to serve on the King Kamehameha Celebration Commission representing the Royal Order of Kamehameha. The King Kamehameha Celebration Commission celebrates, or is the only state commission that celebrates the holiday of one of our ali'i. And that holiday was designated by none other than King Kamehameha V. Originally, the date was December 11th to honor his birthday. But being the humble ali'i that he was, the humble mo'i that he was, he said, no, this isn't about me. So he took the date of December 11th and pushed it arbitrarily as far away as possible, therefore landing on June 11th. So it's not Kamehameha Kahi's birthday. It was just the date farthest away from Kamehameha V's actual birthday. And for him, it wasn't about celebrating only his grandfather, but the father of our nation. And so 1872, when we break ground in this building, was a very busy year because that was the very first year on June 11th, 1872 as well, that we celebrated our first Kamehameha Day holiday. And now today, serving in the capacity as president of the Friends of the Judiciary History Center, honored to be here in the building named after him that he laid for us to continue to be used. And as some of us were discussing, possibly one of the only state buildings today to still be in use for the original purpose as it was intended 150 years later. Mahalo. So it's my honor and privilege to welcome now to say a few words and to bear her testimony. It's like we're in church. To bear her testimony on our capital campaign co-chair, Miss Leah Young Hunt. Mahalo.
Mahalo nui loa, Chief Justice Recktenwald, Governor Green, First Lady Jamie Green, esteemed members of the Supreme Court, Royal Societies, and our distinguished guests. My name is Leah Ululani Young Hunt. I am the daughter of Ululani Townsend and Frank Young. I'm a resident of Palolo Valley and proud descendant of the Kalaniʻo Puʻu, Kamehameha, Koloa, and Blanchard lineage. Like many Kama'aina, my heritage is also a fusion of Japanese, Chinese, Portuguese, and Chickasaw. The moment I stepped into the historic Aliʻiōlani Hale, I was enveloped by a profound sense of belonging, as if the very walls whispered tales of my ancestors. While this may be my first physical encounter with the sacred space. It felt as though destiny had long awaited our connection. Motivated by this deeply stirring experience, I have humbly taken up the mantle as co-chair for the museum's capital campaign. This institution stands not only as a repository of our collective heritage, but as a living testament to the resilience and wisdom of the people of Hawaii, both native Hawaiians and those who call these islands our home. Through the museum's revitalization, we aim to bridge the chasm between past and present, illuminating the intricate threads that bind historical narratives to the challenges of our time. From the devastation of Maui's wildfires to the urgent crisis of Red Hill, we endeavor to unravel the how and why behind these pivotal moments, fostering a deeper understanding among our community. Aliʻiōlani Hale, with its rich tapestry of history and significance, serves as a beacon of enlightenment, guiding us towards a future where knowledge fosters unity, empowerment, and most critically, healing. It is my fervent belief that by embracing and honoring our shared heritage, we can forge a path of progress and harmony for generations to come. In commemorating her 150th anniversary, I am honored to stand before you today hand in hand as we embark on this journey of preservation and enlightenment. Together, let us ensure that the legacy of Aliʻiōlani Hale endures a timeless source of inspiration and unity for all. Me ke aloha pumahana, mahalo, mahalo, mahalo.
I'd now like to introduce Kapahula Hawaiʻi and Kumuhula John Kahai Tapu Lenski. The halal will be out in just a moment, but as Governor Green mentioned, we do have this insert in your programs, and if you've taken a look at it, just tomorrow with some of the folks who were here on the day of the opening of the building, in addition to King Kalaukoa, we had Prince Leleo Hoku, who was the designated heir at the time, along with the Dowager Queen Emma, Queen Kapi'olani, Princess Lili'u, Princess Likelike, Princess Pauahi, Princess Ruth Kealiʻikolani. So many esteemed people were here for that day. Okay, we are now ready with Kapahula Hawaiʻi. Okay, I'd like to say mahalo nui loa for joining us today. This concludes the 150th anniversary ceremony of Aliʻiōlani Hale. We invite you to stay for a reception downstairs, enjoy pupu, and view the new art exhibit or exhibition Imiʻika Pono, Reflections on Land, Culture, and Identity. The exhibition is curated by the Judiciary History Center with artwork from the State Foundation on Culture and the Arts in Public Places collection. Aloha.